Driven people become more driven when they have adversity. They become more driven when they have success. They want more. They know exactly where they want to go, exactly how they're going to get there, exactly who they want to go on that journey with, other driven people. They know what they need to do each and every day to achieve what they want to achieve. We built a room full of driven guys. That's why you're here.
You're one of the team leaders. Do you still believe in the leadership above you, the coaching staff, that they can get you where you need to go?
Yeah, that's a stupid question, but yes, absolutely. You know, I feel like this is the man's game. You know, it's not just on the coaching staff. You know, I don't feel like they did anything to, you know, hurt us. So we did self-inflicted wounds, and it was really about, you know, the offense and the defense capitalizing, and we didn't do that tonight.
It's time for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington as the Cowboys fall to the Buffalo Bills 26-15 here on Thanksgiving Day. And Jason, when you look back at what happened in this game on Thursday, what's your immediate takeaway? As obviously the team got off to a nice start to start the game, but then the game got away from you.
Yeah, you know, we'll go back and watch the tape tomorrow. But unfortunately, we didn't build on that good start that we had. I thought it was a really good first drive to go down there and get points. The game was kind of, you know, back and forth for a little bit in the first half there. The couple turnovers hurt us. And I think as an overarching analysis of the game, I thought we drove the ball fairly well offensively. We just didn't cash in on the drives well enough. We had a couple missed field goals. We missed a scoring opportunity down there in the low red zone, you know, late in the third quarter. And, you know, I think as much as anything else, they were able to cash in on their drives. They kept their drives alive. Their quarterback did a good job both throwing it and also running it. They made the big plays when they needed to at the critical moments.
One thing you were able to do in the first half of the game offensively, you established Ezekiel Elliott, not only running the ball but receiving. He had 100 total yards from scrimmage in the first half of the game.
Yeah, Zeke did a good job, you know, both running it and catching it like you said, and he's always going to be a big part of what we do, and, you know, we want to be balanced, but, you know, once we got into the second half, they did a good job coming out and extending the lead in their first drive, and then it got into a little bit more of a passing game for us, but, you know, I thought our guys competed well, battled well, we didn't cash in enough. Couple of the turnovers hurt us as well.
You know, when you look at the missed field goals, you're basically a 7-7 game, tight game, late in the first half. When that happens, how does a team respond to that? How important is it to respond to adversity?
Yeah, it's critical. You know, you're not going to make them all, and the biggest thing you have to do is get back to work. And like I said, we had driven the ball on a few different occasions and didn't cash in on those drives, and that's going to hurt you against a good football team like this. But you just have to keep playing. You got to keep fighting. Adversity is going to happen. I thought our guys battled hard. We just didn't play well enough in all three phases.
And your defense did respond after the first turnover in the game. What were the Bills doing offensively that kind of got the defense off balance a little bit?
You know, I thought as much as anything else, they just did a really good job with their high percentage passing game. And they were able to convert the third downs, and then he's so dangerous when he extends the plays. You know, whether it's thrown from the pocket, he can be effective, but then he extends it a little bit. You know, the guys can uncover on the back end. He made some big throws in that area, and then he just made some big plays with his feet, running the football.
You know, and defensively, you dialed up some blitzes. A couple of DBs got home on Josh Allen. Is that one of the important things to do on him to contain him a little bit?
Yeah, no question about it. And it's really critical for the down guys, the defensive linemen, to make sure they have good rush lane discipline. And sometimes when you go against like that takes the edge off you as a pass rusher, because you have to kind of stay in your lane, and you got to be careful about getting too far up the field, because that opens up running opportunities for him. So it's a balancing act that you have to go through throughout the ball game. I thought at times he put some good pressure on him. Other times he was able to get away and make some plays.
And of course, a guy that you're very familiar with got to you a couple of times as Cole Beasley found the end zone. He had 6 catches for 110 yards in this game.
Yeah, Beasley's a good football player. He was a really good football player for us, and did so many of the same things today that we've seen him do throughout his career. Come up big on third down, keep drives alive, and just make a lot of big plays throughout a ball game. He certainly was able to do that today.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Jason Garrett Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
We heard a lot of screaming and hollering in the locker room. Just talk about the emotions in the locker room after the game and what the guys were feeling.
Yeah, emotional locker room. Just an exchange of words about us sticking together. Anything and everything outside of that locker room doesn't matter, and as simple as that.
Message in that exchange?
It's for those guys in the locker room.
but there's still belief that you can turn this thing.
100%. There's no belief has been lost, no confidence has been lost. This is simply execution, and it's on players. And that's kind of what that conversation was. Credit the leaders, credit Michael Bennett, those guys that started that. It was a great conversation. It was a great conversation, a lot of great words passed, but it's just all about us executing and just getting the job done, and it starts throughout the week about us doing things better.
The Jason Garrett Show is brought to you by AT&T. Ford is the best in Texas. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
There's no lack of confidence from the guys in this room. I mean, we know that we just haven't been playing well. We haven't played good football, and I've said it before. If you don't play good football, you're not gonna win ball games. So I mean, we just gotta, buckle down. We gotta clean the slate, and we just gotta figure out to go win these next 4 ball games.
I know Jason very well. I've had a wonderful opportunity to spend a football life with him, so I know him very well. And without a doubt, you've seen it, nobody wants Jason, wants it to go. And I'm going to tell you this right now, he's got my back too. And I know that too, and he does have my back. This is disappointing. Before we started this game today, we said this team's going to be tough to beat. Buffalo's a good team.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com, after this 26-15 loss to the Buffalo Bills. And David just came from Jerry Jones' interview with the media just outside the Cowboys locker room. What's your takeaway on what Jerry had to say?
I'll paraphrase here. I don't know if I'm capable of actually relaying exact Jerry Jones quotes, but he said there would be no coaching change, that basically what he was saying without these exact words were, I know who Jason Garrett is. I know who these players are. We've all earned the right to play this out and see where it goes. I know you're pessimistic right now. We're not. I'm looking for a fairy tale ending. All of these guys know we can write our own ending. And I think this is where it gets into people who say, well, why don't you make a change or do this and do that? It's complicated by the fact that going into next week, the Cowboys will still be leading this division. Whether or not they win the NFC East and make the playoffs is still strictly up to them. They don't have to have other factors fall into place for them. It's only themselves playing better. And throughout Jason Garrett's career, you've seen this team respond when many on the outside have counted it out. Now, I will say the Thanksgiving Day game was the sort of game in the past where you saw them respond, and they did far from that in this game. I thought this was a really bad game for them, and I think they all agree with that as well.
The fact of the matter is they just have to win, as it stands right now, 3 games the rest of the way, as long as one of those wins
is Philadelphia.
the game at Philadelphia right before Christmas. But what do you think is most concerning about this team right now?
Well, this is clearly not a complete team right now, and you look at it, it appears to me the only way this team can get to the postseason is the strength of this team is its offense. It's going to have to get the team there and override some deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball and the continued mistakes and special teams that are occurring. So that being said, you can't have Dak Prescott come out like he did on Thanksgiving Day and have the turnovers he did in back-to-back possessions. You can't have Brett Maher miss 2 field goals. This is the strength of the team, the offense. It's got to score points. One thing that's been an issue is slow starts. In every loss this year before tonight, they had fallen behind 78-6. They drive down the field on the first possession in this game, go up 7-0, and then really don't find the end zone again with Dak Prescott.
And when you look at it, they've got their destiny in their own hands, and that tough schedule we thought they had in the final quarter of the season. You look at what they've got coming up next Thursday against Chicago, home here against the Rams, at Philadelphia and Washington. Those are still winnable games for this team.
Sure, but they are at a critical point now. I mean, they go to Chicago after this, and this is a point where teams either break or they respond. And you mentioned one of the teams they play coming up, the Rams. The Rams are in a similar position. Get drilled at home the other day give up 40 points at home, not even close. Those two teams are going to play. So they're also going against teams that have a lot to play for, or the air may be out of them by the time they play. And that is why December is so unpredictable at this level of competition when it gets there.
All right, happy Thanksgiving, David
You
Moore.
too.
It's going to
Thank
be very interesting, the stretch drive of this season. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, our featured player of the week. It's the weak side linebacker in this game, Sean Lee.
I think the Dallas Cowboy football team this year is a team that's going to fight every snap, that's going to practice extremely hard, that loves playing football, and that can win games. Like I said, the step for us is to make sure we're winning week in and week out and playing to our standard. And if we do that, I think we can be a great football team.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Time for our featured player of the week. A man who led the Cowboys in tackles in this Thanksgiving Day game with 12. That would be one Sean Lee.
Well, I think we have unbelievable talent on the team, a lot of character. And the key for us is just to continue to work and continue to be the team we want to be. We're at a point where I think where we have to take that next step. And we know offensive, defense, special teams, we have to put it together and win close games. But I think if we can do that, we can be that type of team. Well, a lot of time as you get later in the season, it's natural to kind of look at different scenarios. And for us, our focus has to be one day at a time, one game at a time, and even one snap at a time. For us, that's how you make plays, that's how you continue to get better, and that's how you keep your focus where it needs to be. To me, takeaways, first thing, it starts with hustle. You have to have a defense with unbelievable effort that's constantly around the football. When it comes to the running game, you have 3 or 4 guys hitting the running back. In the passing game, you have a lot of guys around the ball. We have that type of defense. The next step is discipline, always being in the right place at the right time. And when you put those two together, that's when you start to see turnovers, and that's why they come in bunches, because you're playing the defense the right way, you're playing with great effort, and the ball comes your way. I think the reason we're such a tight-knit group is because of the way we work. I think the shared sacrifice that starts in the off-season, working hard to be a great defense, to reach that ultimate goal of being an elite defense and helping us win a championship. It starts with that work. It starts with sharing sacrifice. It starts with studying, the preparation, and we love doing that together. And we have a lot of great personalities who love being around each other. We have fun practicing and playing together. It's just been unbelievable to be part of this organization for 10 years and to be able to help. And I've gone through tough times and had injuries and had unbelievable support from the organization, from teammates, from fans, and for me, just being able to still be part of it 10 years in and being able to play different positions and help us anyway, it's been a blessing for me and I've loved it. Ultimately what drives me is winning a championship with teammates that I love. We have this team that we love being around each other, we love practicing with each other, and hopefully we can bring a championship to this incredible organization with fans that support us all over the country.
Sean Lee counted upon by this Cowboys team down the stretch of this season. The coach rejoins us here on the Jason Garrett Show in just a moment. What do the Cowboys do to turn things around? Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones rejoined by the head coach of the Cowboys after this loss to the Buffalo Bills. Jerry Jones, after the game, was talking about it was an emotional locker room. I know that you are very confident that the leadership in that locker room will respond and do what needs to be done as far as the players are concerned to get this thing on track.
Yeah, no question. We have guys who are passionate about football and passionate about our football team, and they put a lot out there. And when it doesn't come up your way at the end of a ball game, you have to somehow channel it and take all that passion and put it in the right direction. Our guys have done that really throughout the season, done that throughout their careers. That's why we have them on our football team. So certainly challenges ahead, but we got to get ready to go play our best football against Chicago.
And one of the guys leading the charge as far as that's concerned is your quarterback. I remember a couple of years ago you were in a similar situation, and I interviewed Dak Prescott. And I was amazed. It was right after Thanksgiving. I was amazed at the confidence that this guy, he knew that this team was going to turn it around, which they did that season. When you've got a guy like him that is leading your football team, it's got to give you confidence as a coach that they're on the right page.
Yeah, Dak has so many great qualities as a player, and line one might be his leadership. He's just a special human being, and we're so fortunate to have him as our quarterback for what he does on the field, but also for what he does off the field. And he has an amazing ability to connect with everybody on our football team, an amazing ability to lead. And he leads by example. He makes everybody around him better. And we got a lot of guys like that. So we're going to rely on that leadership. We're going to rely on the leadership of the coaching staff, the veteran players on our team, our quarterback, and get back to work and go play our best football against Chicago.
What's the big thing that you feel like that the team needs to, the lesson they need to learn from this and what's happened here in the last couple of
Well,
weeks?
it's a good football team. Buffalo's a good team. We knew that coming in, and you have to play a clean game against a team like this. You can't give them easy opportunities. So taking care of the football is big. Cashing in on the drives is big. Being able to get off the field at critical moments on third down on defense is big. Certainly all aspects of the kicking game, taking advantage of point opportunities, all those things are big when you play against good football teams. So again, we'll learn from the experiences and get ready for the next challenge.
And one of the big things, you got 4 games left, and your goals are right there in front of you going into the final month of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's in front of us. We got to lock in and take it one step at a time. But we control our own destiny. And again, one day at a time, one game at a time. Let's go play our best football against Chicago.
Antoine Woods was out this week. Christian Covington came up with a couple of big plays on defense. He stepped up.
Yeah, Christian's a veteran player, has done a really good job for us with whatever we've asked him to do this year. And Antoine Woods has been a really good player for us, but to have a veteran guy like Christian go in there, he responded well. He's a good player.
On the injury front, Connor Williams left this game. Any word on the status of Connor going forward?
Not really. He hurt his knee early on in the ball game, was able to come back, and then he hurt it again. So we'll just see what his status is as we go forward.
And Leighton Vander Esch, of course, has missed the last couple of games. What would be the status
we'll
on
see.
him?
We're just taking his situation day by day, and hopefully he's feeling better and better and better. I think our doctors and our trainers are confident that he'll come around. We just have to wait and see.
All right, we wrap up this edition of the Jason Garrett Show when we come back to AT&T Stadium in just a moment. Final couple minutes of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett. Unsung player from this game, I'm going to go with Ventel Bryant, who scored his first NFL touchdown late in the game. But he's been a big guy that has come through in a big way for you on special teams throughout this season.
Yeah, Ventel's done a really nice job. We picked him up, right after that final cut down. And, we liked him as a receiver, and he really emerged as a special teams guy and, shown up as a flyer for us and in some different areas on special teams. And you said it, he had an opportunity to go into the ball game late on offense, and we threw it to him, and he made the play on the other end. And that's really what you're looking for from your backup guys, to make sure they're prepared to go into any situation and execute, and he certainly did that tonight.
I'm going to throw out another one, Luke Gifford, who made a couple of tackles on kickoffs in this game, and we saw flashes of him in the preseason before he got hurt, and I know you've got big plans for the future for Luke Gifford.
Yeah, a big part of this game was to make sure we controlled Andre Roberts. He's such a good kickoff return guy and such a good punt return guy, and I thought we did a good job of that for the most part throughout the game. And you said it, Luke made a couple tackles, did a good job getting down the field and making a play for us. So he's someone who's a young player, he's learning, but he's getting better and better every week.
All right, Jason, we appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Bill.
Next Thursday, as the Cowboys will take on the Chicago Bears in Chicago. That does it for the Jason Garrett Show, and we will see you again next week.
The Jason Garrett Show was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by NFL Game Pass, you'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
You do. Happy Thanksgiving, America!